Don't forget my channels will be splitting on the 1st of January, so if you want to see any sort of F1 or racing content, make sure to subscribe to FNG Racing. A link to the channel will be in the description below. As I said, videos will start there in January and I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. Hope you go on to enjoy the video. Hello there guys and welcome, it is Niran here and today it is time to bring you the first episode of Season 2 of our Leicester City Career Mode. I hope you guys are liking the thumbnail. I actually got asked to do a new one, but I was going to do a new one anyway. Nevertheless, we are here with episode number 23 outright, but episode number 1 of Season 2 here of FIFA 16 Career Mode with Leicester City. And I would like to thank you guys so much for the support on Season 1. It has been absolutely insane. And now we're getting into Season 2. We've got to look at the objectives, the budgets and stuff before we get into some mad transfer activity. As you'll have seen by the league objective, we are expected to get into the top 4. We're expected to reach the round of 16 in the domestic cup, and we are expected to just reach the knockout stage in the Champions League. So we've been utterly niced, if you like, by the board. They're not expecting much from us at all, and they've given us a whopping £36 million to do exactly what we did last year, which is quite astonishing. So we've got a lot of money to do pretty much the same thing, in fact even less than what we did last year, because we actually got to this, well, we won one of the cups. So yeah, we've been very much handled nicely by the board. As you can see, it's now time to get into some pre-season tournaments. We're not going to be playing the games this season as I did in Season 1. We're just going to be simming through them, and we're going to end up choosing the Champions Trophy. That was the first one, and in the group we have got Real Sociedad, Malaga, both of the Liga BBVA, and also Swansea, who were of course in the Premier League with us last season and they got relegated, so they're now a Championship team. And there you can see our squad going into this first pre-season game. A few youngsters coming into the side, Olukanmi there as well on the pitch, Liam Moore coming into the side, Kamano, Drinkwater as well. We actually took the lead thanks to N'Golo Kante. It was then made 2 by Francois Kamano and 3 by Briel Donald Embolo after an injury, unfortunately, to Andre Olukanmi. Mahrez then made it 4-0 in the 68th minute, and that was how the game would end. So a very convincing first game of the pre-season tournament, it has to be said. Now, of course, on top of pre-season games, we got transfer activity to look at. Let's be honest, we've got a lot of transfer activity to get on with, and don't worry, that stuff will come in a little bit, and there's a heck of a lot of it. Unfortunately, there's not a heck of a lot of action in game-wise coming for Andre Olukanmi soon, because he's out for 4 months with a broken leg, so that's very unfortunate for the youngster. As you can see, though, we've got a lot of offers for Andre Kramaric, unsurprisingly. He was the second top scorer in the league after all last season. And my question of the day, the first one, because I'll ask you about an incoming transfer at the end of the episode, so stick around for that. But my first question of the day to you guys is, should we counter offer bids for Kramaric, because he's not really Champions League quality when you look at his overall and his age. So should we start counter offering you know, bids and stuff for Kramaric, maybe get him off the books, cash in now whilst he's actually worth quite a bit of money? Drop that in the comment section below. Should we sell him for something like £7-8 million? Just drop that in the comment section below. Obviously, we would have to replace him. Talking about players we would have to bring in, obviously, we would have to bring in a player if Kramaric left. And talking about players we're bringing in, last time I told you I needed a backup goalkeeper, I needed a central midfielder, a winger, and also a backup winger, I think it was. Was it? I can't remember, actually. No, a striker, that was it, just in case we sold Kramaric. And as you can see in the background, I made quite a lot of inquiries for a lot of different players. Now, I know they've been all lumped together, all the wingers, the midfielders, the backup goalkeepers, they've all been lumped together there in this inquiry list. And I will go over them in more detail as I look for each individual player. Today, we're going to look at the backup goalkeeper and the central midfielder, and then next episode we'll start making some bids for wingers. So I'll go into them in more depth as I'm going into the specific players. So today, I'll go into the central midfielders in a lot more depth when you see me making bids for them. Now, however, it is time to get into the second game of the pre-season tournament, and a win here would actually guarantee us a place in the semi-final. And we're winning 2-0 already, and we would go on to win the game 2-0. Riyad Mahrez with another goal in this pre-season, and Shinji Okazaki adding to that as well. And you can see a few youngsters playing there as well, Ben Chilwell and Joe Dodu getting into the side. So overall, another win there against Malaga after our win against Swansea. This is looking pretty good. You know, we're qualified now for the semi-finals of this pre-season tournament in pretty good fashion. A 4-0 win and a 2-0 win. And going into the third game, we're now 1-0 up against Real Sociedad. Only for 16 minutes, because after Richie Delac gave us the lead, Della Bella for Real Sociedad actually equalised. An injury there for Riyad Mahrez, looking slightly worrying, it has to be said though. Thankfully, he's only out for 2 days after an injury in the second game. So in all 3 of those group games in the pre-season tournaments, we actually got injuries in all 3, which is quite astonishing. Only one of them being serious, unfortunately, for Olukanmi. As you can see, that has added a good £1.4 million into the transfer kitty, and that obviously means we can splash that cash on a central midfielder. We're going to look at the central midfielders first, and then we'll look at the backup goalkeepers a little bit later on. The first central midfielder we're going to look at is Granit Xhaka of Borussia Mönchengladbach, putting a £20 million bid in after they said they wanted £34 million in an inquiry. We're also looking at Corentin Tolisso of Lyon, the 77 overall 21-year-old, a £7 million bid going in after a £10 million inquiry. Also Maximilian Arnold of Wolfsburg, a 22-year-old central midfielder playing in the Bundesliga, £11 million bid being made for him after an inquiry of £17 million. So he's quite cheap in comparison to the guys like Xhaka, and also this guy, Özcan Özyakup of Besiktas in the Turkish league, offering £18 million for him. Of course, the £20 million for Granit Xhaka, quite a lot of money in comparison to Maximilian Arnold. Also £18 million being offered for Hakan Çalhanoğlu of Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga after a £30 million inquiry, and Hakim Ziyech of FC Twente is also being bidded for. All these bids sort of toe in the water bids, just to test the waters, as I always do, put in a really low offer and then see where it goes from there. Unsurprisingly, Bayer Leverkusen actually rejected that offer for Hakan Çalhanoğlu, and we actually decided to step that up to £23 million instead. So still £7 million under the valuation of 30. Also, we had the bid rejected for Özyakup from Besiktas, so he stepped that up to £24 million from the original 18, I think, that we offered in the first place. We also had our bid for Borussia Mönchengladbach's Granit Xhaka rejected, so he put in a new £26 million bid for him after Borussia Mönchengladbach indicated they wanted £34 million. But on the other hand, Wolfsburg actually accepted our first offer for Maximilian Arnold of £11 million, which I have to say will be somewhat of a bargain. He's a very good passer of the ball, decent pace, decent agility, really, really good long shot, so he'd be scoring some very, very good goals if he did join. And for only £11 million, he's going to be about 78, 79 overall, about 83 or 84 potential. That could be somewhat of a snip. Bayer Leverkusen, Borussia Mönchengladbach and Besiktas all accepted our second bids for those players. Unfortunately, Tolisso and Ziyech are both out. FC Twente were being far too unreasonable about Ziyech's price, and also Corentin Tolisso actually signed for Everton before we could actually make a second bid. So unfortunately, we were beaten to signing the Frenchman from Lyon. Now, after looking at some central midfielders, and it's looking pretty good so far, making some good bids, varying amounts of money being spent. We're now getting into the semi-final of the Champions Trophy, our pre-season tournament. We played Roma, drew 1-1 after normal time, Dumbia and Embolo with the goals, and despite having a fairly weakened team, Drinkwater in the side there, and a few other players, Kamano in the side, we actually won on penalty, so we are now through to the final of the Champions Trophy, our pre-season tournament, and we've got an extra £2.5 million now in the transfer kitty. Now moving on into the final, and we are playing Atletico Madrid, and to be honest with you, I wasn't too serious about this one. I knew we were going to lose this game anyway, so people like Liam Moore, Chilwell, King, Drinkwater, Kamano all came into the side because I thought realistically we're not going to win this game, and I was right. We lost the game 3-0 in the end. Angel Correa, Yannick Ferreira Carrasco and Jackson Martinez with the goals, showing just how seriously Atletico Madrid did take that. They put out their first team, and rightfully so, won the game 3-0. But we do get quite a lot of prize money just for getting to the final, even though we didn't win the tournament in the end anyway. It would have been nice to get an extra £3 million from winning the tournament, but hey, we were never going to beat Atletico Madrid in the final unless we played the game, potentially. Now moving on from the central midfielders and the pre-season tournament, we're looking at some backup goalkeepers. Now, I didn't go for Jack Butland because he's as good as Kasper Schmeichel. That's not backup, that's the same. So I'm looking for someone who's sort of 71, 72, who will become a solid backup goalkeeper, not just this season, but next season, when we get a better goalkeeper than Kasper Schmeichel as well. The first player we're looking at is Bartlomiej Dragowski of Jagiellonia in the Polish Ekstraklasa, I don't even know, the Polish league, basically. We're also looking at Raul Gudinho of FC Porto. If any of you guys watch my Career Mode project series, then you'll know both of those players, because they're both in that series. So making a bid there for Raul Gudinho, and also of Ivan Mvogo, who plays for BSC Young Boys. In some cases, offering Ben Hamer, our already backup goalkeeper, in return, because Hamer doesn't have any potential to grow. He's 66 overall and not going to be used that much in this series. Now, we offered about £2 to £2.5 million for all of those players, but unfortunately, when it came to Dragovski and also Mvogo, we were actually outbidded by both. Jagiellonia came back to us and said they'd accepted an offer from another team, which was actually FC Ingolstadt of the German Bundesliga, and Mvogo actually signed for, I think it was Stoke. So unfortunately, we missed out on both of those players because we were just beaten to them, you know, like time-wise. So out of the three, Mvogo and Dragovski signed for different teams, so we were only left with Raul Gudinho. So we decided to go ahead and make a contract offer for him, £15,000 a week, 4-year contract, and a squad rotation player as his squad role, which is one rung higher than his sporadic first-team player squad role that he is at Porto. But if you do want me to sign a different backup goalkeeper, do drop it in the comment section below, because I'm not going to be signing this guy straight away. I'll be making that signing next episode if you guys are happy with it. But if you have any other, you know, goalkeeper suggestions, put them in the comment section below, as long as they are actually backup, as well as whether you want me to start counter-offering for Andre Kramaric. Now moving back to the central midfielders, and we're putting in contract offers for all of the central midfielders we saw earlier, because a lot of them, well, all of them had their, you know, their transfer offers accepted by their respective teams. Putting in a contract offer there for Maximilian Arnold of 60k a week and crucial first team player. 4-year contracts for all of these guys, including Hakan Çalhanoğlu, you see on the screen there, for Bayer Leverkusen, the attacking midfielder. Not sure how he'd cope as a holding midfielder, that's what I'm sort of looking at. I think Özcup, Xhaka, and Maximilian Arnold would be able to cope with that role. Not entirely sure about Çalhanoğlu though. Putting in this contract offer now for Özcan Özcup, who I think is about 79 overall by this time in the career mode, got about potential of 82, 4-year contract, crucial first team player, all of that type of shenanigans, 60k a week. There you can see also Granit Xhaka of Borussia Mönchengladbach, 70k a week contract offer for him, 4-year length as always for all of these players, and again crucial first team player. And now we're going to see an email in a second that Granit Xhaka actually declined the contract offer that we dished him out on, well, that we put on the table. So we're actually going to increase the offered wage value to 90k, which is quite a lot. I think that's going to be the most that any player in our squad is on if we do end up signing Granit Xhaka, and for £24 million plus 90k a week, that is a pretty expensive signing when we've only got about 39 million in the kitty in general, and of course we need to go and sign a winger afterwards. Hakan Çalhanoğlu also declined the contract offer. Thankfully, Özcup and Maximilian Arnold actually accepted their first contract offers, so we don't need to offer them more money, but Hakan Çalhanoğlu was after a bit more in the offered wages, so he went ahead and made a new offer of 85k, I think it was, a week in the end. 4-year contract and crucial first team player, as was the case last time, but he came back and said he was going to decline again, and given he's not actually the type of player we quite need, I'm not really willing to pay more money for a player who's going to be a compromise anyway. So we have been left now with 3 central midfielders overall to choose from. That is Granit Xhaka of Borussia Mönchengladbach, Özcan Özcup of Besiktas, and Maximilian Arnold of Wolfsburg. And it's simple. Xhaka is £26 million and 90k a week. Maximilian Arnold is £11 million and 60k a week, so lower wages by 30 grand per week, and also £15 million less. He's only going to be about 2 overall less, bearing in mind. I think Arnold's about 78, 79 by this point in career, and Granit Xhaka is about 81, and Özcan Özcup, who you'll now see on the screen, is going to be £24 million and 60k a week, and he's about 79 or 80 overall at this point in the career mode. And what I'm going to ask of you is fairly simple. Which one would you like me to sign? Out of those 3 players, which one would you like me to buy? Özcup is an all-round player, really good at pretty much everything. Arnold, very good at long shots especially, and also his passing is pretty good. Xhaka has amazing passing and also decent long shots, but his pace and agility isn't fantastic. Now, personally, I would quite like to sign Maximilian Arnold because he's the least, and he offers a bit more than Granit Xhaka. But it's down to you guys. If you want to give me a challenge, funds-wise, then go for Xhaka or Özcup. I do like a challenge when it comes to buying players for a budget amount. Buying one of those two would certainly do the trick, because they're going to be very expensive. But there will be a straw poll in the link in the description below. A link to a straw poll will be in the description below. And just simply vote. Would you like Özcan Özyakup? Would you like Maximilian Arnold? Or would you like Granit Xhaka being bought in this career mode as our first signing of Season 2? It is a massive signing, it has to be said, whoever we get, because they're going to strengthen the team and they're going to be a heck of a lot of money, especially if they're Özyakup or Granit Xhaka. Nevertheless, I hope you did enjoy the video. Sorry, if you did, feel free to smash the likes button. Tell me what you think is possible as well in Season 2 of this career mode, having seen our objectives at the start of the season, at the start of the episode. Sorry. Hope you guys are really excited for what will happen in Season 2. And again, if you want to contribute, make sure to vote in that straw poll for which central midfielder you would like me to buy. We'll look at wingers and finishing off the backup goalkeeper signing as well next time out. But yeah, it's been fantastic. Subscribe if you're new around here as well. Comment about enjoying the video if you enjoyed it that much, as well as answering all the questions that I've asked you so far today. But nevertheless, it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a good day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.